share my screen with you guys. If you have any questions, put it in the chat, or I don't know, is there some way to unmute people so they can ask questions? I don't have.
Yeah, they can unmute themselves.
Okay, so if you guys have any questions, just ask me, since we're going to be looking at my screen. But we're going to start with dotloop.com. If you guys have not logged into Dotloop ever, please let me know, because we'll have to make sure you're set up. So let me make sure I can, oops. Get my
Hey, Gail, I'm not licensed yet, so probably, is this a class that I should be in or no?
You're gonna have to learn it. You can sit and decide whether or not you want to. It's a long class. There's a lot of information, but it's how we submit our paperwork right now, and it's how you'll get paid. So if you're interested in pulling contracts or looking over like a listing agreement, you might want to sit through it. If not, then you can always call me and be like, help.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let me go ahead and share this with you. All right, so I log in through dotloop.com, and the way that I do this is because sometimes if you go through your KW site, if the KW site is down, you won't be able to log in through Dotloop, but you can always go here. So we're just gonna hit sign in. And basically what I'm gonna do is we're gonna walk through doing a listing loop. We're gonna pretend that your listing has sold, and then we're going to show you how to do the green sheets and how you get paid. My Dotloop probably looks a little bit different than everybody else's because I'm a TC. I have lots of loops in here, so we'll just ignore this, and we're going to briefly go over these icons at the top. So you have loops. It looks like a little smiley face. This will take you back to this whole picture wherever you are in your loops. It's going to bring you back to the screen. Your tasks, you can set up tasks if you're a checklist person and you need to assign things to yourself. If that's how you work, you can do that. Your people are in here, your templates are in here, and this is where you can find all the documents. So I just clicked on that. Since I'm at the Kolb office, my left side looks a little bit different than people at JV, and that's fine. All of our documents will be found on this left side under all these different folders that they have created. So we're just gonna click on listing residential TAR. So you can kind of see what's going on in here. And if you ever need to pull any of these documents, a single one, or you need to print it, you can always come in here and do it instead of setting up a completely whole new loop and pulling everything over. So I'm going to go back to the loops. Sorry, I got to move the little screen. I can't see anything. Okay. And then this right here is your account settings. You can go in there and change some fonts. You can add your license number, the broker's number, and whatnot. The more things you put into Dotloop, the more it tries to autofill all the paperwork, which is super helpful, or you could sit there and type it all out. It's really up to you guys and what you want to do. I highly suggest, if you have time, get in here and play around, pretend to write a contract, pretend to write a listing agreement if you're not comfortable with Dotloop. It's got a lot. There's a lot of things that it does. But for now, let's go ahead and click on Add Loop. And we're just going to do... I'm sure I have lots of test loops in here. April 2020, even though I think I already have one in here. Oh, I don't. Okay, perfect. So also when you put in an address here, say, we'll just use, who's in here? Jordan is. So say Jordan has a listing and you put in his address for the buy side, it will populate his name, and you can always click on that, or you can hit skip or continue, but don't be alarmed if it populates stuff from Zillow, or not Zillow, from, well, Dotloop and Zillow are partners, but MLS, it will pop up with an MLS number or whatnot. But for now, let's hit continue. So here we're going to choose the template, and we're going to click the listing residential TAR, and this is going to pull over every piece of paperwork that I need for a listing. Then you're going to hit continue. So photo, if you guys are that type of people that you need a photo of the house, you can throw that up there. There's, you know, if you want to take a picture of their dog, your clients, that's up to you. It's weird. No, I'm just kidding. But go ahead and hit done. So now it's creating the loop. So this is what the loop looks like. So you can see right here, it says type. It's a listing for sale. It's done that because we created and pulled over the listing template. You can always change that here and within the loop. Status right now is none, and we'll go over the status and how to use those, and price-wise, we'll get into that too. But for now, just click on View Loop. Okay, so here is everything that we just pulled over, and I know people get super excited and just want to jump right into the documents, but best practices don't do that yet. Let's actually scroll down to your people. So right here is where you're going to add your sellers. Dotloop does not have an ability to have two people sign with one email. So both, if you have a, husband and wife, they each need their own emails. So I actually have a fake one. We're just going to put me in here, Gail Seller, and you guys can use this one too. It's just dotloopergail@gmail.com. And I'm going to assign the role as seller. So what I'm doing here is this is creating the spots within my forms that are going to assign it to seller. So there are already forms in there with seller spots, and now it knows that Gail needs to sign for that. This add to my team button, do not do that. So if you were to add your clients on your team, it gives them permissions and the abilities to change documents as they see fit, and you won't know about any of those changes because it just does not notify you. The only time you would use add to my team is if you have a TC, if maybe you're going out of town and somebody's covering your business, but you do need to know that once you have somebody on your team, you cannot remove that permission at all. All these in red, you can fill out here. We can fill out in the autofill form. We can fill out in the details. I tend not to do anything other than the name and the email. I'm going to go ahead and click add person. And admin and you will always be in every loop. Don't worry, admin's not in here looking at your stuff. And down here we have load templates. So if you're a checklist person like I am, we have these mimic the paper checklist that we used to have. So there's quite a few of them that the brokers put together, and it's super helpful if you're like, oh, this is my first deal. What do I really need? Go ahead and click on listing. I'm going to show you mine are a little bit different as a TC. I've created my own. So you guys can go and do this on your own if you need to add something like prep for open house or anything like that, you can add it. But right now we're going to click listing because this is paperwork only. And then you'll see all this. So this is separate than my paperwork up here. Let me move this box again. So say you've done all these and you click this. If you scroll up, and I have to refresh, I'm not going to refresh, but this will start to turn red. And this is only with tasks. This has nothing to do with paperwork. And then if you're that person who's like, that circle isn't complete, I'm missing something, this might bug you enough to utilize your tasks. If not, don't worry about it. You can always delete tasks. So if you don't want the template, oops, you can hide it from people too, and you can delete it. You can add, we'll do the prep for open house down here. So that moves it up to the top. It's red because it's thinking that it's due today. You can change due dates here. You can assign it to your seller right here, or whoever you have in your loop, whether it's an admin, anybody. If you're like, hey seller, can you go ahead and wash the windows? You can do stuff like that within here, and it will send your client an email. So let's go back up here. I have my person in. I'm still not quite ready to open up all those documents, so I'm just going to mess with these. And I use these all the time because it's easy for me to track my loops. And if you guys are new or you have lots and you can't keep track of them, I usually go have mine based off of closing date first, because I know those need more attention than things that have maybe just started or opened up escrow. And of course, we all want to get paid. So I use all of my statuses. Right now, we're going to change this one to pre-listing, and that will change within the actual loops, this little button up here when you look at them all. But for now, just for time's sake, let's go ahead and click on one of these documents. We're going to do the listing agreement, and it should pop up with the autofill. So see right here, it says seller one. It automatically assigned it because of the role that I gave this person within the people. So say you have more people, it will do the same thing. I don't think there's a limit on how many people you have. There is only 2 fields assigned in the autofill, but you can assign many more fields manually on your own. You can share with your other agent when you have a buy deal, anything like that. So I'm going to scroll down. And right here, the more I can fill out, the more it will fill out this paperwork for me. And I can do this one time, and it's going to carry on to all the other forms. So since it's not an MLS, and this is just a practice, we're going to put the, oops, sorry guys. I'm going to put this in here. Let's see. There is, I think it's the assessor's number that will not autofill no matter what you do with it. I'm not sure why. Let's see, there are a few things in here that just don't carry over, and that's okay because I'm going to show you every single page of the listing agreement because there's an initial spot that gets missed as well. So we're going to put the expiration date, we'll put just for a month, the end of May. We're going to say the listing dates today. Oops, that didn't take. We'll put 350. And I'm going to hit autofill. So now everything in yellow is stuff that it's pulled over that I've provided. So here's the assessor's number. I didn't put that in, but even if I did, it wouldn't show up. So we're just going to do that. Legal description. We're just going to type some whatever in here. So these boxes you can check, you can uncheck. This goes for every single page. If there's something that is missing, I think JV agents might have an issue with some of your paperwork. Please let me know if there's something that you can't autofill so we can bring it to the proper people's attention and get that fixed for you. But down here, every initial spot should be assigned to your seller automatically. So it says GS for Gail seller. And the only one it doesn't actually get is right here on page 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and I'm hovering over that. You're going to hit assign field and just go over here to Gail seller. So just keep that in mind when you're autofilling this. It does not do that, and you don't want to miss that. As same with these little check boxes. Don't forget to mark those. So we're just going to scroll back up and go through all this. So we're going to do 6%. I do 3 and 3. Oops, sorry, my mouse is being all weird. And you just want to make sure that you're not rushing through this so you don't forget to fill stuff out. I mean, it happens to all of us, but let's see. So got all that. And if my mouse would scroll faster, sorry. Okay, so up here, the broker does like you to have the address or some sort of contact info for your client in the event of emergency. So it's best practice just to fill it in. They also might not live at the property that they are selling. So we'll just put in that they are. Put in my number. Oops. That's fine. Listing broker name is always Lisa Sullivan. And you want to get into practice of spelling out Keller Williams, Southern Arizona on all of your forms. So not KWSA or not Keller Williams, Southern AZ or AZ. It's always Arizona. And then you put in your phone number, your email, your name. Your name gets put right there too. And so you need to sign this. So you're going to click on this and you see it says assigned to no listing agent because I never gave myself a role in the people, but that's okay because I can do it right here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit sign now. And you can adopt your own signature. Mine just looks like this. You can attempt to draw it, but mine looks like a 4-year-old did it. I'm going to hit adopt and sign. and I'm going to save this document. So I've got all my the listing agreement ready. I'm going to hit this back red button as soon as it takes me back. Okay. So you're probably looking at this, why is this one grayed out? So this is the input sheet. You can actually print this after you've already put the listing into MLS. You have the ability to do the input sheet there, or you can do it prior to, whatever works for you guys. If you are really good at memorizing the home, this is just a placeholder. That's why that is gray. And you can always archive this to get it out of your view. So now we have to do everything that we just did with the listing agreement with all of these. I'm going to get rid of the lead-based paint because my house was built after 78. So I'm going to hit archive. And if you notice all these little things on the right side, we'll go over those a little bit more too. This is not an exempt delay. I'm going to hit archive. But in the event that it is, and you have that filled out, if you were to hit those little 3 buttons, you can fax to MLS. I think it's 322-6613, send them a fax letting them know that this is an exempt listing. You can do that here. You don't have to worry about downloading the copy, emailing it to them, although you can email it to them, or finding a fax machine, because I don't know where those live anymore. Okay, so we're going to click on agency. I know that there is an issue with Dotloop on one of the agencies. Oh, here it is. Okay, so you're seeing it's assigned buyer 1, 2, and buyer agent. So this is the buyer version of the agency, although it's the same document. What I'm going to do in the event for this, because I don't have a buyer, just click the X, and we're going to manually go ahead and go in here and type everything in and assign our fields. Oops, I forgot an N. And that would be you. Okay, so down here, oh my God. So it's this portion right here. So you always click box 41, 42, and down here at 45, you click sellers. So right here, we're just gonna click on it, and it's saying it's assigned to no buyers because we don't have a buyer. You just hit Gail seller and hit save. So now this document is ready to go to you, your client. I'm gonna hit back. And basically you're gonna go through every single one of these documents, and that's what you're going to do. I think the market actually, oh, it does, okay. We'll hit autofill. I was looking for a document. We actually had to drag and drop a signature, and then this is not it. Let's see if the wire fraud. Okay, perfect. So this one doesn't have the signature field automated in there. So what you're going to do is up here at the top, you have file, you have add, autofill, more, save, and share. So file, you can print, download, split the document, rotate it, apply the template, save as a template. In add, you can add signature, initial, text, date, name, checkbox, radio button, and strike through. So you're going to use this button a lot. You would just hit this, hit add signature. It automatically connects to my mouse. You move this wherever you need a signature box and just click. And you can do the same with the initials, same with all of these. And I'm actually just going to delete those. And for right here, you're going to hit assign field, assign it to who you need to, and just hit save, and you're good to go. Same with if you're like, oh, I actually need to sign this document. So you just do it like that, adopt and sign, and there's your signature. If you're like, oh, no, I didn't, this little red X, it's kind of hard to see. This will remove any of your fields, or in the event that you have, we'll do a couple of these. So say this was neatly put in a nice line document, or you need to have your seller do something. Here, we'll add text too. If you need your client to fill out something that maybe you don't know. So I'm clicking on my mouse, I'm holding it down, and I'm dragging this box across all of these to highlight. So I'm grouping those together. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit seller. So now I can't click on these because I've assigned this to my seller only. So that's just a little trick to do lots of fields at one time. But we don't need all of those. We're just going to hit delete. And if you look at the hot buttons too, down at the right side. So you'll see they kind of change on different documents, but if you hit Control Shift and S, I could copy this. I'm going to drag this. I'm hitting Control Shift and C at this point. I'm going to hit Control Shift V, and it already has my assigned signature field that you can put down. And if you pay attention right here, these are some easy things that make it easier with a buyer advisory, the purchase contract, something where you're putting a lot of initials down on forms that aren't autofill. This will come in handy and save you guys some time. And we're just going to go ahead and delete that, but I'm going to hit save and I'm going to back out of here. All right, so I'm going to pretend that we have all of these documents. The property verification, it's not required anymore. However, I highly recommend you guys do that because that's how you get info on the property. Don't trust everything MLS says because sometimes that's not right. And that will take you, if you are looking at like the GIS site, it gives you lots of good information, flood zones, airports, the proper schools. I see a lot of incorrect elementaries or middle schools sometimes because they're just pulling things over from the other one, but bad habit. Okay, I don't know why that's in there twice, but let's archive that. So we got this all done, and now I need to share with my client. So a lot of people send one document at a time. I don't recommend doing that because just like normal Gmails, it gets stacked. Some of those get lost. It's better to click and autofill all your stuff, get all of this ready, and send it to your client as a packet. So mine's ready. I'm only going to do this once. I'm going to hit share, and since this is a fake email, I'm going to actually share it. Tells me right here, there's 16 places my seller needs to sign, which sounds about right. If there, I think there's 2 documents I should have put in there. It equals out to be, I think there's like 21 different fields, which is fine. Right here, you can hit can sign. If there was a spot you needed to add the text box, a checkbox or anything that you manually had to drag onto the document, you need to make sure you do can fill and sign, or they won't be able to type in that box. Can edit in private, avoid that because like it says it can view, sign, fill out, or create a new document version. In private, reshare it. So that's good if you guys are working on something with an admin. However, I wouldn't give your client access to change any of your documents. So avoid that one. Just hit can fill and sign or can sign. And then you're gonna hit share. You can add a message. We'll just be like, Gail, here is the listing paperwork. Call me with questions. So they'll see this in their little email, and down here, if you want to attach PDF to email, this is really good to do when you are sharing something with another agent. Not everybody in Tucson uses Dotloop. So if you're sharing with a long agent, they, I believe, use SkySlope. They're not going to log into Dotloop. So if you hit the attach PDF, you don't actually have to leave Dotloop to share anything. You don't have to jump in your email, just share that way, but attach the PDF to the email so it's easier for them to see. And then you hit share. And that's done. So it's telling me these documents have been shared. Now they are waiting on others. Awesome. I'm just going to hit done. And now you'll see it says waiting on others here. So if my client opens this, it's going to say Gail viewed, still waiting to sign. So at every point in the process, you can know what your client has done. There's history of every single loop on when the person has opened it, when somebody has signed this document. The only thing is that I think it's an hour off because of the time difference with Arizona, so it's an hour or 2, but everything else is correct. So if you're like, oh, hey seller, why haven't you signed that? And they're like, oh, I haven't gotten it, but you're looking at the loop and they've opened it, like maybe you need to have a conversation about maybe they're having cold feet, etc. So, and you'll see right here, it's shared with Gail and admin. Like I said, Gail and me, my seller, and your admin will always have access to it. So everything in here is going to be shared with the admin automatically. All right, so I'm not going to log into my fake one and sign it, but let's get that done. All right, so say they went ahead and signed it, everything is awesome. don't forget to submit to the office. So right here, where you see it says not submitted, this is optional, don't worry about that. You're gonna click on the box next to the folder. So now it auto fills and checks all those boxes. Go up here to submit for review at the top. Click on that, make sure your address is correct. So I was missing the state. I'm gonna hit next. And it's automatically going to listing. So if you'll see right here, there's buying, listing, property management, referrals. You're really only going to use buying and listing. I'm going to leave it at listing. I'm not actually going to submit this, or Tiffany's going to be like, stop sending me your test loop scale. And I'm like, I'm sorry. But you would hit submit. You could put a note in here, but from what we've tested in the many years that Dotloop has been around, we don't know where these notes go. So we have no idea who's seeing them, who gets them. However, the messages in the loop are still good to go. But so I'm just going to hit X. All right. So I've done that. Let's pretend we've put that in MLS. It's now an active listing. I'm going to change that up here to active listing. And this just changes how I see things within my loop up here. And does anybody have any questions? Am I going too fast? Was that confusing?
I'm good.
Good, awesome. Okay. So now I got my listing up, awesome. We're going to, yes.
I posted a question in the
Oh, I
chat.
can't see the chat, hold on. Because I'm sharing my screen. Let me see if I can get there.
Well, I can just ask you, because you were talking about batching the, all of the documents, have you ever run into a case where the recipient's email rejected the delivery because the file was too large, or they had a security protocol in place that wouldn't accept certain files or anything like that?
I have not actually. So what it does is it sends out an email and it tells you Gail has shared, and it goes and lists every document. So it would say agency, wire fraud, listing agreement. And it's, if you are attaching the PDF, that might become an issue with the PDF being too large, but you'd have to share a lot of documents. I haven't come across that, but it gives them a link to sign up to Dotloop. So it's a free account for them.
So they're going into Dotloop to see all of these.
Yes. So
Okay.
here, when you assign their fields and whatnot, let's click on this and go down. When you set this up in this portion right here and you send it off to them, it sends them an email saying, hey, Tessa's invited you to Dotloop. So they're going to click that up and it's going to take them to their Dotloop, which is a little bit different than ours because it's the free version for the public. It's going to ask for a one-time login and password for them. So super easy and simple. And then every time that you send them something, it will just take them automatically to their loop. So by law, we do have to hold on to our records for so many years. Your client now has access to all of these documents for the same amount of time as we do. So it goes into the cloud. Everyone can see it that has been shared with, and they can, oh, I need that paperwork from when I listed the house. They could always jump in and log in and grab it. So it's actually a link, unless you're attaching the PDFs, it's a link to take them to Dotloop, which from there they can print off things, download it, save it to their own computer, do whatever they got to do with it.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Okay. Sorry. All right. So, okay. We have an offer on our listing. Woohoo, it's sold in a day. Isn't that great? So what do I do? I have seen this a lot. Like I used to teach or train admins, and I used to be an admin myself on the actual staff. I've seen tons of this. So a listing has sold and you're like, all right, I got a purchase contract, and people automatically put it in with your listing docs. Let's not do that. So what you're going to do is right here on the right where it says show archived and add folder, click on this add folder. You can do this for as many things as you need. Maybe you want to separate inspections out. Maybe you want to, they have different warranties. You can always put things in different folders, whatever's easiest for you. I'm going to actually just rename this purchase. Or you could name it sale folder. You could name it the buyer. If you're getting multiple offers, each offer needs a separate folder. So I'll show you again. I'm going to hit add folder. And in this one, we'll say rejected. So this is a rejected offer. Every offer that you get in on a property that you don't accept still needs to be submitted. You do not have to do a green sheet. You do not have to even separate out or take it into separate PDFs, leave it in whatever lump that you got it, but it still has to get submitted to the broker so she can review it and keep us in compliance in the event we are ever audited. But we'll go over that folder in a minute. So back to this purchase folder. Go away. There we go. And I'm just going to move this up here and we're going to minimize that. So purchase all those good documents, since they're most likely not coming from you unless you got a dual sale, which is awesome, by the way, you're probably going to be emailed these paperwork or sent over. I don't know how you guys are getting them. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit add document. And this is how you upload documents that aren't already in your templates or in Dotloop. So a purchase contract and whatnot. I'm going to hit browse. I'm sure I have lots of things on here. Here's one. So I'm not going to open it just for privacy reasons, but we'll pretend like all of this stuff was our offer. All right. So that's how I uploaded it from there. If there's something that, say you do have a dual agency and you're going to write the offer yourself. Let's go. This is so small to me. Sorry, guys. I'm struggling. I have my glasses on and everything. Oops. Here we go. Buyer residential sale. Where's the contract? All right. So there's no contract in here. There, right there. Maybe if I click on the right one, huh, guys? All right. Am I blind? Are you guys seeing the contract? Oh, there it is. Okay. Copy. All right, so I imported that one for my template. So this right here is everything that we have in Dotloop. Browse is everything that you have off of your computer and email. So this big old long thing, if you were to copy this, so say I had, so Tess, we'll use you. So say you emailed me a contract. I can actually copy this whole thing to my clipboard and go in my email with whatever attachments and hit forward to this and it will email it into here. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Takes a little, well, it's not instant. I'll tell you that right now. But it is something that's quick and easy if you happen to keep this on your clipboard. But I tend not to mess with it too much. All right, so we have our contract, our pre-qual. We don't need a lead-based paint. The counter offer, you need to have your client sign everything, but because this is coming from the buyer, we're going to have to assign the fields to our client. So I'm gonna click on this. This is I'm skipping this right here just because this is something I've uploaded. This is the autofill one. So we'll pretend this is coming from somebody else. All right, so I'm going to hit add initials. Oh, I can't do it with this one. Okay, we'll just open this other contract. Hold on, guys. All right, so you have to have your seller fill everything out. So you hit initials and the whole copy and shift comes in handy right here. So this first one I'm going to assign to my seller. I'm going to drag and highlight, Control Shift C. I'm going to scroll down and make sure Control Shift V that this goes on to every page. And that goes a little bit faster than having to do this every single time. And you want to make sure you don't miss any spots. So we will skip all the way down just for time's sake. So if you're like, well, what if they have a counter? How do I check mark that box? So you're going to hit this. You're going to go to add checkbox and you're going to hover right over that and you're going to mark it Those are super tiny, and then you would hit add signature. Sign to your seller, and then also remember to put your client's name because sometimes they're weird in tax records. This is just Gail. Oops. Gail seller. And then I'm going to hit save. So there's the contract portion. So say also we have, what else did I pull up? The pre-qual, the counter, and addendum. So say you had the market conditions, are they sent over? So yet again, with your listing paperwork where you did it all at one time, try and do your purchase contract stuff all at one time. Granted, a lot of stuff when you're dealing with a purchase contract comes in later down the road, which is fine. Those are trailing docs, and we need to submit your stuff as not as it comes, but within so many days of fully executed contract, which I should note, you have, I believe it's 5 days for the listing agreement. If I'm, no, 2 days. It's either 2 or 5 days to get this submitted to your actual office. And I think it's 5 days with the purchase contract. I always do 2 days at the most if I'm not submitting right away. So guys, don't forget to do that. Let's do share. We'll share the prequel too. And then with these, I'm just going to attach it as a PDF in case they want to take more time. They can review literally every single line on their end when they open up this link. They can take their time. It's not going to rush them and read line by line, but in the event that they want the PDF, I'm going to do that and hit share. So my client has it. And you'll see yet again, waiting on others. So once that's all signed, you need to do or submit this to rejected offers. Like I said, this is literally just throw in if your client never even responded or there's a counter that timed out, you just put that in here, click that, hit submit for review, click the right folder and hit buying and then hit submit, and that goes off to them and they'll change the status to rejected. And at that point you can archive this out of your loop if you don't want to see it. So that will get it away. You cannot delete anything from Dotloop. You can only archive stuff. Does anybody have any questions on that? Let's see. Okay, finally, I'm seeing the chat, sorry. Okay, so new folder for every single offer, counter, and reduction. Oh, okay, so you're asking about the folders. Okay, so folders, you need a new folder for your listing documents. You need a folder for your sale documents to keep everything separate because a listing goes one way when it's being reviewed and the sale portion goes a whole different way. So they're not going to the same place, if that makes sense. And this is why you keep them separate. Rejected offers, they need their own folder because they have nothing to do with the current one that's either open in escrow. So keep that separate. You can use a folder for whatever you want. You can name it whatever you want. So if you're like Johnson 420K offer FHA, you could name it that. If that helps you know when you're getting multiple offers in to know which one is which. Or even this one, you could say purchase folder Johnson buyers. Whatever you guys want.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is all of the folders that you just added are just for that one listing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then there has to be a separate folder for every single offer. So
are you saying with an offer within this listing? Or are you saying in general?
yes, yeah.
Okay, so yes.
Pardon me?
Yes. A new folder for, say you got 4 offers on this listing, and that's not unheard of. You would do 4 different purchase folders and you can name them whatever, but they have to be separate because you're going to eventually go with only one and you're going to only be working with one. So we need to get those other documents away, rejected, and archived. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a little confusing. Don't stress over it too much until it happens. And when it does, call me and be like, what do I do? If you're talking about with, oh, hey, Gail, I have a buyer, what do I do? Do I go in this loop? No, we'll create a whole other loop for a buyer. So this is, right now we're just working with your listing. Your listing has been sold and now we need to get you paid on your listing. Does that help?
Yeah. Are there videos on Dotloop?
There is some Dotloop. If you scroll down all the way down to your loop right here where it says about Dotloop terms of use, each of us have a member number. If you ever need to contact Dotloop, they'll ask you for that. The Help Center has some walkthroughs. I believe it will take you to, it's a list. It says brokers, agents, teams. Click on the agents. And then I think it's a walkthrough on the left side where it goes to assigning signatures, doing a whole new loop. It might be in there. If anything, I'll go in there and see if I can pull the link and send it to you. Let me just do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hold on, let me write that down real quick. Okay, so back to this. Oops. I can't see because in this chat. Okay. So now you have everything done. Let's actually change your status up here. This is now under contract. So I'm going to click that. And then now it's popped up with these two different red spots. So the purchase sales price, this is all different ways to sort how you look at your things. So try and fill everything in. So, sorry, I think my child is finally done with school. She's making sounds back there. All right, closing date. So this is how I always track mine. So we're going to close it. It's the 21st. We'll do a 30-day closing. And then the view details is everything that autofills. So now I am ready to do what now? So I have it. I have my contract. We're under contract. What do I do? So best practice is to submit your loop or wait and hope you don't forget. But what I do as a TC, I've been doing this for many, many years. I submit my loop with my green sheet. And you're probably like, what is a green sheet? The green sheet, think money. Green is money. That's how we tell our MCA office how we need to get paid. So I have my contract. I'm ready. I'm probably waiting on my earnest money right now. From now until the next 2 days, I'm going to get this done. And that's when I use my checklist because these email me daily and like, hey, Gail, don't forget. But for the green sheets, what you're going to do is you're going to click on view details. And now this little thing has changed up here. So it says activity log, submit to green sheet, submit for review. I'm going to hit submit to green sheet. So if this is the first time you guys are doing this, please keep in mind that you'll probably have a pop-up blocker preventing this screen to open. And I sat there and waited forever and I was like, I don't understand. So just make sure your pop-up blocker allows it. And if you go back here, it will still tell you it's waiting. But if it says please wait and nothing's happening, just give it a little bit. The very first time is kind of weird where the two different platforms are syncing with each other. If you cannot get into it that way, you have to go to your MyKW site, and it's the technology tab at the top right. When you're looking at your homepage, scroll down to green sheets and submit that way. Either way, you'll get this screen right here. So if you have to go through KW, it's not going to autofill because it's giving you the generic one. But do you see here, a lot of these red boxes have pulled over info from my loop. The only thing is it keeps defaulting to a buyer sale no matter what lately for me. And that's just been the past, I think, 2 months, but that's okay because I can change it to a listing sold. So right here, it's a green sheet type. It is a residential. My contract date will just say is today. My closing date, it pulled over. Everything in red is required on the green sheet or you can't submit it. Don't waste your time filling out these white areas. It's irrelevant info. Let's see, listing sold. So this will change. Obviously this is my listing, I sold it. So maybe the next time I have a buyer, it's buyer sale. Or if you have dual, you're going to click both listing and sale. But right now it's listing sold. The class is property. Property type is resale. And you have the option for new builds or lots. And it pulled that over for me. I'm gonna hit next section. So sale price, I already forgot what I put. What did I put? It was like 240. Yeah, perfect, thank you. 240. All right, so right here, I'm gonna click percentage because she is paying me 3%. So this is only your portion, not the 6% total. This is only what we get paid. We don't care about what they get paid. So I'm gonna hit 3. If it's a flat fee, so say you took some land or something, you would just type out your total amount in here, but it's easier, just do percentage. So this is my gross total. So I'm gonna make 7,200 off this before I have to pay my fees. That number is gonna change by the time we're done with this. I'm gonna hit next section. It asks me for the buyer. Just put in the last name. We'll just, oops, Johnson. And next section should autofill my seller. Next, this is where we tell them how we get paid, who we need to pay if we're covering, say you want to cover a warranty for your client or something like that. We can put all of that info in here. So it's going to auto-populate to your name. In the event that something is off and it doesn't, or you need to add another agent, use this glass and you're going to type in the name here and then hit search and it will populate the different agents in our office. So your agent role is going to be a listing specialist. Your type is a listing. The agency is seller. Listing unit, this will always equal 1. So if you have a team, working with somebody, or you have a referral that's in-house, you're like, hey, yeah, my buddy gave this to me and they're an agent in KW, this is where these numbers might differ. So if you have a split of a 50-50, it's 0.5, 0.5 or 0.75, 0.25, but those numbers must always equal 1. And what 1 is 1 meaning the 3% is you get all of that. And then you're just gonna hit tab. So this portion of mine's a little messed up because it just keeps, it's stuck on when I was staff from years ago. So we'll just bear with me. Whatever your split is, because mine always says 85 and it doesn't matter what I do. You can change that if you're at a 60-40. Yours should say the correct thing. However, if I were your admin test and I were to put you in here, yours is going to auto default to this. So mine's a little broken, but that's okay. So if you know you're capped on royalty, you can hit yes here and that deducts it down to 0. If you're like, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter what number this is going to give you because sometimes I've had it tell me it's like negative $10,000 and it's just an error in the system and your MCA will be able to fix all of that on their end. We're just trying to get them info. Okay, so KW cares. These are red. JVs, you guys have yours are a little bit different than mine. I forgot what yours are broken out to, but we have down here, I think yours are different. Whatever it is, even if you can't do anything, put 0. It needs some sort of numeric value in it. And then right here, buyer's home warranty. If you're covering the home warranty, you would put in the amount. Agent concession to buyer seller. I don't know why you're crediting your client, but whatever you guys got to do to make the deal work is where you put it in here. Deductions, if you guys have an admin, this has to be a licensed admin. You cannot pay unlicensed admins or assistants through commissions. It is illegal. So if this is something like you have a TC like me, this is where I go in. Or if you are like, hey, I'm going to pay for roof repairs, you would say roof repairs and then 500. Or say you do have to give money back to the seller for it to work, you could put seller credit. And then, oops, credit. Someone needs a nap. You put whatever amount you need to. And then you go down to here, AHA. I don't know if you guys are familiar with AHA. It's agents helping agents. That's in the event that something happens, knock on wood, that you guys can't work and you need help paying bills. This is an account that each office holds independently and you would approach them. So this is us helping other agents within our office. This isn't something national. This isn't something state. This is local for us per office, just so you guys know. E&O is usually always 65. Teams have a little bit different structure. I've seen it broken down in some of the strangest ways ever, but it's always 65 unless you have an arrangement otherwise. And then here we go. So my net check after my credit, my repairs, my E&O, any donations is now 49.23. So if this number ever says anything weird or negative, it's okay. Don't worry about it, because what's on your DA, which is your disbursement authorization, will be the ultimate number. I'm going to hit next section, co-broker. So this is the other agent. And they do this because back in the day when I was in staff, they would pull these. And if you see down here, it says recruiting. Have you spoken to this agent about the benefits of KW? They call all of these agents, if you recommend it, to try and recruit them over to KW. So if you're working on profit tree building, this is at least a good paper trail to say, hey, I had this, I told you to talk to them, it might be good for you. But otherwise, you need to put their name in there. I'm just going to put Joe Schmo. And I'm going to we'll just put Tierra. Okay, so I don't care. I'm just going to, it was a whatever. I didn't think this agent was special. I didn't think they weren't special. I'm not going to put anything in here, but if you want to, you could say yes or no. So I've seen some interesting comments on here. Would this agent be a good fit for KW? Yes or no? I have seen no checked. I have seen why. So you can do whatever you want here. All right, next section. So escrow company, we see lots of different variations of this. If it's title security, then TSA goes here, and your title company would be Catalina Title down here, if that's the ones you chose. Put in your escrow officer. Just put Allison because I can't think of anybody right now. Loan amount, we'll say 205. Lender guy. Oh, okay. I'm over it. All right. So mortgage company. Oops, put that one in the wrong one. So we'll just say it was a VA loan. Warranty provider is Old Republic Home Warranty. So basically I'm done. I don't need to provide any of the info here. And then this notes section actually goes to your MCA. So at, I think it's either Cheyenne or Heather over at JV, and then Tiffany over at Kolb. She'll see whatever note. If you're like, hey, so it came up with like a negative, or I have a referral, I don't have the info yet, I'll get it to you later, rada, put whatever. Have a great day. You're amazing. Those are always fun for them to see. I am, however, going to go back up before I hit submit to show you if you have a referral. So go to the agent detail. Even if it's not in-house, you still need to get unpaid. So here's the referral percentage. That's about 25%. So once I put that in there, this little box pops up and says now that, this is down at the bottom. I'm going to hit OK. And what it means is right here, it's now open this outside referral section. So if you're doing a referral, you probably have a referral agreement, but what we need is their W-9, the companies, not the agents. So we need their W-9 of the company because we cut checks based on the company and then they can hand it out to their agents. But you would put in all this info here. You really only need their name, who's, obviously it's getting paid by me, and the tax ID. If you don't have it, go ahead and skip it. Obviously, it's not required, but at some point before you close, make sure you get Tiffany or Cheyenne or Heather that information so they can get the referral put in there properly. Okay, let me actually get rid of that though. And I'm going to go up here and delete some things to show you what happens when you don't completely fill this out. Okay, so I'm going to hit submit to MCA. And it's saying, please enter only number values into the field. Okay. So it will tell you, there's not like a way you could be like, I submitted the wrong one. I'm gonna hit submit green sheet. So bam, now it's telling me there's this big red box. You have errors on this, and it tells you which section. So I'm like, okay, it's in the co-broker section. You can go right here, or you could scroll down. But I'm gonna click on this. It's telling me I didn't put in the phone number or the company name. I'm not gonna fix this because I can't just half send a green sheet. If I send it, Tiffany's gonna be like, what are you doing? And I'm gonna be like, I don't know, again. So if this was done correctly, what it will say is the status here will say partially accepted. That's fine. It's not going to say anything else until your MCA pulls that green sheet over and gets you a DA. So best practice though, printable view. And you're going to want to print this or save it as a PDF. So I use Chrome. I can just save as PDF through here. Firefox, you have to hit the 3 lines. I'm going to do printable green sheet. And we're going to name it test loop, whatever you need to name it, your street name, whatever helps you remember. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to go back to my loop. I'm going to hit add document, and I'm going to pull this green sheet over. So cool thing about green sheet is, actually, I'll show you. So it's kind of small, but right here, there's a number. It's your GSO ID. So it's your green sheet ID number. If you're like, oh crap, we changed the price and you haven't gotten a DA yet and they haven't pulled over your green sheet, you can come back in here and change the price and just hit save for later. And that updates it. So when they finally pull it over, it should be correct. But if they create your DA, they give you your disbursement authorization, you can no longer change your green sheet. Okay, so let me exit out of that. So now I have my green sheet, I have my contract, I have all of my sale paperwork. I need to turn this in now. A lot of people tend to wait and you're like, well, I don't have my trailing docs, I don't have the, buyer advisory or all the other documents that come with, and we haven't gone through inspections. It does not matter. Stay in compliance and submit immediately. Everything else can come later. So you would do the same thing, check that box, submit for review. I'm clicking purchase folder and I'm going to change this to buying, and I would hit submit. So if I were to do that and I got more documents, I get asked this a lot. Do I keep resubmitting the loop? Absolutely not. You only submit once. The brokers then have their own timeline that they go and review everything, and they will change this right here where it says not submitted. This will say sale submitted to MCA. And from there it will say sale pending, I believe, or a broker review. And it changes statuses, but at no point do you need to keep submitting because it does nothing. If you're like, oh, I got the earnest money receipt, just throw it in the loop. That's it. That's all I got for you guys. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask. That was a lot.
I'm gonna need to see this like 100 times.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, you are. I've had people come to classes probably like five times in a row before they finally get it. And if it helps you to actually get in the loop, like I was saying, oh, you weren't on here yet. Get in the loop and do your own practice one and keep doing it until you're comfortable with it. Create, like I've created my own like fake emails, and I'll send it to them, and then I'll jump in that email so I can see what the client says. So I've done this for years where I'm like, now I know what your client sees, so you can explain if they're like, hey, you didn't send me this, or I don't know what to do, or whatnot. So you know both sides. So get in there, mess with documents. The only thing I would say is don't submit anything that you're messing around with, and you can do whatever you want. You can create as many loops as you want. I'll show you. We'll go back here. If you're like, okay, Gail, I did that. I created that loop, but now it's just stuck in my list. So you're not going to see mine because mine's all the way at the bottom, but let's pull it back up. So here you'll see, you can search whatever loop. So I have quite a few of them because I was messing around with them myself. I'm going to click back on this. And now under here, I would change this to archived. So if you're just doing practice ones, you can give it a status, and when you're done, hit archived. And if you have your actual filter set up properly, you won't see it anymore. So here's your filters.
So you're in Dotloop inside command, is that what I'm understanding? Or are you,
I'm Dotloop, not within command. I'm in dotloop.com. I have
okay, so
pulled
why
all-
is KW Keller Williams showing up in your
Right here?
band? Yeah.
because it's our brand. It used to be all red, but it's just how Dotloop has branded Keller Williams specific for us.
Okay.
If you're not seeing this in yours, are you seeing this in yours?
I have no idea. I've only gotten as far as getting into command and linking Dotloop into command. That's as far as I've gotten.
Okay. If
And
I
then I went to dotloop.com to go through some of the training videos.
if you can log in through dotloop.com, make sure that you're seeing this Keller Williams premium, or else you don't have the right account. And that's an easy fix through the admin. Our staff can fix that. But yes, actually, let's go down here to the, let me just click on the loop because I'll be scrolling forever. I'll show you how to get to the help section of Dotloop. So I clicked on that help center, and that's on every single one of the loops way down at the bottom. So you see right here, you would go to agents, and here's your agent training. So this is a little generic because I am also DOT certified. Dotloop is across the country. However, what a KW may do in New York is a little bit different than how we do it, and it's per whatever. So these are kind of generic, but they'll give you a pretty good idea of what you need to do on your first loop, on how to do the contacts, making a copy. So there's quite a bit of these things in here if you look. And here's how to sign, how to share documents, how to it's just based on what like you need to do. And if you have any questions, call me, because I've done this since day one with Dotloop, which is like over 8 some odd years now.
Okay.
There's nothing Dotloop has done where I'm like, what? Oh, I see. Hold on.
But you haven't been able to find the notes.
What notes?
You said the notes that are on the bottom of the thing that for.
Yeah, for that one.
forever.
When,
You guys don't know where they go?
no idea where those go. I have tested it so many times.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Josh, you're saying you have questions. I can call you, or you could tell me right now.
I have a question, Gail. For my loop, how you merge to your green sheet, I don't have that option in my loop.
Okay.
So how did you do that again?
Okay. Oh, this is the wrong loop, but we'll do it here. So right here, do you see the view details under your loop name?
Yes.
Okay, click on that.
Uh-huh.
And then right there at the top right, it says Activity Lab Submit to Greensheet. Click on that.
Oh, got it. I found it.
Okay, is it opening another window or no?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. There you go.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
Yay. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? I know, like I said, it's a lot. Tess, don't be overwhelmed. If you need help, or if you're like, Gail, help me again, I can do a one-on-one Zoom with you, and you can share your screen with me, and I can help you that way. Back. Let's actually get out of there. Go back up to loops. Josh. I will talk to you later though, but okay, so other than that, I think we covered everything. I don't think there's anything else. But yeah, like if you guys want, get in there and just mess around with them. Just create as many practice loops as you want, pull over whatever documents, upload documents. Don't just use the templates. whatever you got to do to learn how to sign the signatures or get comfortable with it, or just call or text or email me and be like, can you please help me? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you and make sure that you're comfortable and you're not scared of Dotloop or anything. So, and if you're like, I need you to sit on the phone with me for an hour, I'll do it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, I'm going to end the meeting, Josh and team and Tess. It was great. And I don't
Thank
want,
you, Gail. Thank you so much.
how do you
Thank
say
you.
your name?
Senia.
Okay. I'm still not going to say it, but thanks for-
Senia.
okay.
Josh can teach you.
Oh, Josh.
It's like the
Mhm.
flower, zinnia.
Oh, interesting. All right, guys. Well, if
All
you
right, guys. Thank you.